Back tonight on In Focus, the DA has issued a statement saying the South African Post Office is planning to cut staff salaries by 40% from next month. The official opposition also states that medical aid benefits of staff and pensioners have been withdrawn due to non-payment despite staff making contributions each month. Meanwhile, the Post Office management had assured the Communications Portfolio Committee last year that it's working hard to turn the parastatal around. For more on this, we're joined now by Levy, Zwane, the General Secretary of the Democratic Postal and Communications Union. Levy, good evening. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. The last time I had a chat with you, we were, of course, raising this issue of the medical aid and pension fund contributions not being made. Has that situation improved?
Good evening. Unfortunately, situation has not improved at all at Post Office. Instead of improving, it's now getting worse because last year, November, December, employer decided not to pay even all the medical aid. All employees of Sapo spend all their festive seasons without any medical aid going forward. Even in January now, we are being confronted by a situation whereby we are being told by employer that they want to cut 40% of salaries of employees, of which it's amazing.
So they were informing you of this as you were returning to work this January, and what is the rationale? What's the thinking? What are they basing this on?
Look, as Tipaku, one thing that we have always been saying is since Sapo from 2020, the conditions of employees have been deteriorated in such a way that they've been losing some of the benefits. The rationale of management regarding issues of cutting of salaries, they are claiming that they have not received any funding from government, and they are running short of income revenue, and they are spending almost 8% of their income revenue in terms of staff, payment of staff. Of which, from where we are as Dipaku, we don't think it's correct, because if we can check, since from last 5 years, employees of SAP have not even received any salary increases. When you match that, you can literally say they are already on that process of salary cuts of 40% currently in terms of not getting any salary increases since from 5 years ago going forward.
While they do all this, the DA is reporting that the CEO is earning 4 million per year, almost twice as much as her predecessor did in 2020. Is that correct?
It's so puzzling, because it's one of the major issues that we raise with management to say, we want employees to cut salaries, but there is a threat that is lying on top there, that you should just give us all your money, how much are you earning as the top management, so that we can start there before you can even come to the ordinary employees who are currently even sacrificing tools of trade in terms of the buying bicycle spares and a tie bag in terms of retail spaces. So employees currently have been sacrificing a lot. There is nothing more that they can sacrifice more than they have sacrificed.
Why is the Post Office continuing to lose money? It's believed that they have so far in this financial year incurred a loss of 2.3 billion.
Look, we raised this thing sharply with management at some point to say, failure for a main shareholder in terms of government to modernize, to invest in modernization of Post Office has resulted in where we are. But critically, the split between Post Bank and the Post Office also has caused a major harm in terms of ensuring efficiency of Post Office because of political decisions. And there was no compensation of Post Office as and when it's an institution that ensured that the Post Bank is what it is currently. Yeah. So I think that strategically, in terms of the intervention of our government and the way things have been run in terms of modernization of Post Office, I think our government and management have failed in that regard. Many institutions have long overtaken us in terms of running the business, and then we are still lagging behind.
So the Minister of Communications saying they will be turning post office infrastructure to be able to be fit for banking, and we're making some investment there in order to establish the Post Bank as a state bank. Do you see that being a viable option in terms of reviving the post office?
Look, in 2014, the then Minister of Postal and Communication made a commitment to say Post Office will get 30% government business in terms of ensuring that Post Office becomes self-sustainable. But we can tell you, only one business that Post Office got, and it got it through the court processes of SARS. So we are not so sure whether our political principles, as and when they are speaking, whether we should not just even trust their way to say what are they saying is what they are going to do. Because even currently, the current situation in South African Post Office has been also exacerbated by a main shareholder of which Post Office has been knocking to government to say, government, can you give us bailout? But to date, nothing has been forthcoming, and they know the situation in Post Office is very dire.
Have you been engaging with the Hawks as far as the question of the non-payment of the contributions? Have they been investigating? How far is that investigation?
We can tell you, last week we had a meeting as the national office bearers of DIPACU. We took a decision that we are going to public protector on Friday to open a case against the company for non-payment of medical aid and other statutory benefits. So this is our approach going forward.
Is that because you don't believe that the Hawks will be able to take this investigation further?
Look, the Hawks, we trust them, but I think we have more trust on public protector to expedite our matter, because where we are, we really need to ensure that this matter is being expedited and those who are responsible are being taken to task as soon as possible.
So the response from the Post Office says the Post Office is overstaffed and it has to reduce staff costs. However, no final decision has been taken yet on the question of the 40% gross salary reduction. Let's deal with that first one. Is the Post Office currently bloated as far as staff complement?
Post Office has been reducing staff since from 2015 to date. And then we can tell you it had almost 22,000 employees. Currently, they are having 14,000 employees. You can see they are trying to reduce in as much as they can, because they are not even as the state-owned entity following a ruling party in terms of a mandate, in terms of creating jobs. Where they are now in a process of whereby they are now shedding jobs in terms of retrenchment or voluntary severance packages, of which these are the processes they are undertaking currently, whereby people are being taken ESPs going forward.
So as far as DIPACU is concerned, and the only turnaround that could change things at the Post Office right now is if government were to give the Post Office a bailout.
Clearly, as DIPACU, we are clear. Shareholder must come to board and make commitment in terms of ensuring that Post Office is being modernized by investing some resources, also to ensure that it gives Post Office government business. Post Office, it should not be where it is. Our government has given Post Office many of the government business that is being given to other outside institutions, whereby a Post Office is suffering because of failure to invest on the same government institution.
Levy, Zwane, once again, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. General Secretary for the Democratic Postal and Communications Union, DIPACU there.